Yo, it's Luke and Angus in the banter zone. Basement vibes where the chaos is grown. Beer in the hand, F1 in the rear view. Rugby hits harder, but the league's got a clear view. Crack a cold one, independence the creed. From hops to scrums, we plant the seed. Yield the generation, the party's raw. Shitposting legends, leave them wanting more. That's the rap. It's a basement affair. Luke and Gus serve the chaos, no room to spare. Beer was sipped, truths were spun. F1 engines roar, the banter ain't done. Catch us next time. Same shit posting spree. Basement Polony banter where you're meant to be.
Nice.
Yeah.
Welcome back.
Yeah, nice. Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 38 of Basement Quality Banter. My apologies to listeners last week. Apparently, I was a bit quiet. That was a technical issue, which I hope I've solved, and you get what you pay for. Angus is pouring a lovely. Is that six string? It's six string.
Six string dark red IPA.
Nice.
Yeah, I got my beer subscription yesterday just in time, and I was very pleased to see six string in there. Unfortunately, their IPA wasn't in there. It was that dark red and the pale ale, but always bloody good beers. So I was quite excited to see them.
I took the bike for a ride up today to Hiker. I haven't been up there for a little while. Had a great chat with Daniel and tried this so much. I loved it. I had to grab some. It's Smoke Signal, a smoked lager, 5.2%. At the entry level of smoke, I think he used Voyager red gum smoked malt. But it is just delicate, gorgeous, just that hint of bacony smoke. If you haven't tried a smoked beer before, this is the one to try. It's a really good introduction. It's not as big as a Rauch beer, like any of those Schlenk curlers or anything. Nowhere near that. But it's just like a hint of the smoke, but enough to really give it some character. On a really solid lager base. I had to buy some to take home because it's an absolute cracker. How's your red? I know I've had that one a couple of times from Six String.
Yeah, it's really well balanced between kind of the hops and malt. Sometimes you get red IPAs can be a bit too malty, which I quite enjoy. But this one seems to be a nice balance between the hops and the malt.
When I was at Hiker today, I did try the latest Everlast, the Evergreen, sorry, the terpene. Just the nose on that. It still blows me away that using the cannabis terpenes is just, it's an amazing job.
Yeah, I was planning to get in there on the weekend and grab a 4-pack of those.
Yeah.
And I completely understand about the smoked lager. Whenever I go into ballistic, my goal is to not buy the smoked XPA, and I always drive out buying the smoked XPA.
Yeah.
So it's just such a unique offering.
Yeah.
Like you said, normally smoked beers are massive palate wreckers. But there's just something really interesting about just that little subtle interplay, little unique kind of smoke character to ballistic oaked, and I look forward to trying Hiker's one as well.
Yeah, grab some while you can. It's an absolute cracker. It's yeah. Not that I've had a beer that isn't good from Hiker, but that's pretty impressive, that one. On to beer news. I'll start with Mick Fanning releases a book printed entirely on beer coasters. It's a bit of fun for the somewhat quiet bolter, since a couple of the founders left following the 3-year handover contract with Asahi. The team has chosen to bypass traditional bookstores and launch Beers Do Come True, the definitive guide to achieving your beers, making it available exclusively through Aussie pubs and bars. The book offers a tongue-in-cheek, lightly philosophical take on beer and the ritual surrounding its enjoyment, positioning itself as a parody of the self-help titles that typically flood the market each new year. So Fanning said, this book is for all those seeking inspiration to get a beer and yearning for a place to put that beer. So, yeah, sounds like a bit of fun. I know they're big, evil megacorp, but yeah, still a bit of fun.
Again, plays into their very common kind of marketing, I don't know, theme of just kind of, just playful marketing, um, not schemes, marketing plans done really well.
Yeah, and they have. It's only my opinion, but they have been quiet the last year since Scotty and
Yeah,
a couple of the people have left after that 3 year lock in. Not to say I had their black lager last year, and I thought that was a cracker of a beer. So yeah, I just think they've been a bit more quiet. You had Green Valley Brewing on Phillip Island, got the green light.
yeah, this one caught my eye. So yeah, Green Valley Brewing, placed on Phillip Island, have finally got a green light for regular opening hours from the local council. So it's a brewery that's situated on a farm. So you drive into some dude's farm and he's got a brewery there and what do you call it? A tap shed. So
Okay.
it's a shed with taps in it and some chairs. It looks pretty cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, so they're previously very focused on Belgian specialties like saisons, grisettes, and bière de gardes, but yeah, softening beer market forced on their brewer Luke Smith to kind of expand his offerings into a pale ale, Kolsch, and a Mexican lager. So yeah, those kind of easy to drink, approachable beers that um, are good for us non-beer nerds. They didn't have any photos in the article that I read, which is weird, but sounds like a really idyllic setting. Kind of sitting on a picnic blanket or your chairs, overlooking a green valley and drinking some Belgian specialties. Sounds like a good time to me. And if you add in the MotoGP, which is held on Phillip Island, that sounds like a pretty bloody sweet combination.
Yeah, that's on the bucket list. I haven't done MotoGP. Um, I know the track well from supercars doing it, and I've seen the GP quite a few times on telly. It's a cracker of a track when you come over the blind hill and all you see is the ocean. Yeah, we might have to do a basement quality banter field trip to Phillip Island. I
Road trip.
reckon once we get some
Yeah,
sponsorship.
I've got a cousin Kerry who's been riding motorbikes for decades, and she actually kind of warned me off taking a bike to Phillip Island. She said the cops there are pretty intense, and you can be stuck in inspection queues for hours trying to get into the island. So I
Oh,
don't know.
that sounds like in Queensland when we do a charity run with any of the bikies up here. We always get pulled over and the tape measures come out and measure seat to ground to handlebars, and you have your drug test and your breatho test and your license, and they just go crazy. So yeah. You also had legendary US brewer Firestone Walkers celebrating 30 years.
Yeah, celebrating 30 years of operation from Paso Robles, which I didn't actually look where that was. Um, so they were founded by Adam Firestone and David Walker in 1996, which pretty much coincides with my starting journey into craft beer.
Yeah.
So I guess we've got that in common. We both kind of kicked off our craft beer journeys around the same time. There was a grey market for Firestone Walker beers in Australia for quite a long time, and I think it was 2017 they decided to officially start exporting beers over to Australia, promising I think it was 17-day trips on boats crossing the US.
Yeah.
Didn't read whether it was refrigerated or not, but 17 days is pretty quick.
Was
And
it
then
Parabola, their big one? I'm just searching for that. I thought it was.
Union Jack was one they exported, and I've had that a bunch of times from Uncle Dan's.
Yeah,
And the double barrel ale I've had when I can find that. I've had that as well. And I
yeah,
think
no,
Easy Jack was one of the ones I had as well. And
I, I've had the.
they've always got IPAs coming over.
Yeah, yeah, no, the Parabola is the one I've had a few times. It's their big, uh, their big, double oaked whiskey imperial stout, barrel aged stout. They sort of release it every year. That's the one that I've always think of when I think of Firestone Walker. But they've done. Uh, what did they do? They did a collab with Bolter, and I think they've done one with Mountain Culture. Yeah,
Yeah,
very cool.
yeah,
30 years is good.
yeah. 30 years is a massive effort in the US market, considering it's gone through its saturation phase and the shedding phase, and they still seem to be kicking on. So that's a pretty good effort. I didn't read any news articles about their. They got a bunch of celebration beers they're making for their 30th year and having tap launches from their brewery and also tap takeovers in their various partnership bars. But I didn't see anything about beers coming to Australia, so fingers crossed because some of them sounded pretty tasty.
Yep, no, that sounds really cool. And you had something on Russian River?
Russian River, yeah, I thought I'd do a very, I don't know, very simple a bit of blurb about cryo hops.
Mm,
So hops are a plant, and there's a flower on the plant where we us brewers get our hop oils from. Simplifying it a lot. And cryo hops is a scientific process where they extract the hop oils out of the vegetal matter. So you're left with basically a liquid, and you lose all the vegetal material that soaks up a lot of beer when you're doing dry hopping. So putting hops into the fermented beer, and that generally gives you a heap of aroma, a little bit of flavor, but mostly for aroma. So these cryo hops are really targeted at reducing those beer losses compared to the T90 hop pellets, or even worse, hop leaves. They're pretty bad for absorbing a lot of beer you work so hard to make. So I noticed on that video that you posted, the Russian River already using 440 pounds of Simcoe in their massive dry hopping schedule for Pliny the Younger. And that's only the Simcoe. There's some other hops there, which I don't think the guy mentioned what they were. So just imagine the sheer amount of beer loss if they're using pellets or, God forbid, actual hop leaves.
yeah, and that's just the dry hop. That video that I put on the Facebook group. Yeah, that was just the dry hop of the Yakima Chief going in. That's not brew hops or kettle hops. That was just the dry hop of that batch. It was just ridiculous. Have a look at the
It's
video on the post on the basement quality banter Facebook group page because I had to share it. It was just ludicrous.
That is ridiculous. Good on them, but Jesus, I wouldn't do it.
Nah, so much. Yeah, and why have the little cryo bags? They're gonna have to ask Yakima Chief for 1 ton bags of
Bulk,
bulk hops. Just
bulk cryo bags.
I couldn't believe it. I really couldn't. I had the Heineken boss steps down after a poor year despite China growth. The boss of one of the world's largest beer brands, Heineken, is stepping down after 6 years as the firm battles failing beer sales. Dolf van der Brink said the Dutch brewer had been marked by significant change in recent years. The firm has been contending with drinkers switching to no or low alcohol choices, as well as the rising prices that have increased its costs and squeezed customers' budgets. Heineken issued a profit warning in October after reporting a 2.3% drop in beer volumes for year to date, with particularly weak performance in key markets such as Europe and the US. despite leading the alcoholic sector with their Heineken 0.0, this also dropped in sales last year. So he has stepped down, probably a bit of board pressure, and he hopes that some new direction will help them get out of that slump. So considering how big Heineken is, that's not a good sign.
Yeah, when you first were talking about him stepping down and the reasons for it, I'm like, but hang on, they've got a non-alc which has been out for years. Like they're probably one of the first, any brewery really, that brought out a non-alc. So you just assume that because they were there first, then they're still everyone's popular choice for a non-alc, but doesn't sound like it.
Yeah, that's probably the biggest international non-alc, I think.
Hmm.
And the sponsorship of the F1s has probably helped that. But yeah, that's just apparently, the day he said he was leaving, the share prices dropped by 3%.
Ah.
So tough times ahead, I think, for them.
I guess in a nice thing for him, the shares didn't go up.
Yeah, yeah. Maybe it was his shares that were tied to it, though. Yeah. So you had the Queensland Beer Awards coming up, and a little bit of news from our friends at Slipstream.
Yeah, following up on our chat last week about the beer awards, Slipstream have just announced that they are releasing the latest batch of their classic saison. This beer took out the grand champion beer at last year's awards, and it was a great example of a saison, and also B, a really really unique offering amongst the sea of pale ales and IPAs. And I was quite pleased for, I guess, the Belgian beer category that a saison took out grand champion.
It's a cracker, absolute cracker of a beer. Just ticked absolutely
Yeah,
every box that the guide said it should. It was just amazing.
yeah, I think that came through the keg station next to me, and I seem to remember it was in a 20-liter keg, so we couldn't really touch it that much. But had some little samples, and yeah, it was a beautiful beer, and that was my first choice of beers on the awards lunch, and I made a beeline for that one.
Yeah, yeah. Before you knew what had won or anything. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, I knew it was good.
yeah. And you
Um,
received planning messages.
yeah, but yeah, on the beer awards still, I received my first planning messages from head steward Jocelyn Erickson. So obviously things are starting to kick off at the RNA. I've got my accommodation booked with my fellow longtime steward Caesar, and I'm primed, ready to go.
Yeah, I'm
Let's
looking forward
let's
to
do
it.
it.
And the
Yeah,
awards night on the Thursday night with the distillers comp is something new this year, so that'll be really interesting.
yeah, it's on the nighttime, isn't it? They've
Mm.
changed it from lunch to night. Yeah, okay.
Yeah, the
That's
the
gonna be
two
a rough
comps coming
Friday.
together. Yeah,
That's gonna be a rough Friday, particularly when my next thing is my end of February is going to be a very, very beery time for myself. So the weekend before the awards start, which start on the Monday, the weekend on so from Friday to Sunday is my veteran rugby club's fishing weekend, where we go to Straddie and
no lines get
don't do
wet.
any fish.
Yep.
Don't do any. Well, you can fish, but you get fined.
Okay.
Um, so basically it's just go there just to hang out,
And drink
get
like
some
fish.
get get some man time, and drink some beer and talk rubbish. It's good fun.
Nothing wrong with that.
It's good
Yep.
fun. Good fun, and it's a good reset at the start of the year actually.
Yep.
Um, one of the guys is bringing a refrigerated trailer, so things are stepping up a notch. He's got a generator run refrigerated trailer, so that's certainly up on last year with ice and eskies and all that sort of rubbish.
Yep.
So I get back on the Sunday afternoon. Then early Monday morning, I'll be in at the RNA, just making sure that keg stations are ready to go and helping Joss out wherever she needs help. So I'll probably see my family for about 4 hours on the Sunday Arvo night time over a full week. So I don't know. Apologies in advance to my family. It's only once a year.
It's the best time though, when we actually get to catch up with heaps of the brewing community in person.
It's my favorite beer event of the year.
Yeah, yeah.
With it easily because there's such good people. There's a bit of work involved at the back with the stewards, and I know how hard it is to do judging as well. So there's a little bit of work there. Get that done, and then have some beers afterwards. Yeah, it's a great time.
Everyone works hard, but they're all there for the right reason, so it's really good.
Mm.
I shared in the Facebook group the latest Brewers Association guidelines, which were released yesterday or today, which most competitions around the world use to build their own or directly use them. The biggest addition is the rice lager category, and there is some expansion to Belgian subcategories. There's a session Belgian ale and things like that. So if you really want to look at trends, the Brewers Association of America is really cool. Some of their guidelines that they change, but you'd be hard to find a mainstream brewery that doesn't have a rice lager on at the moment either. So it makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, is that the guidelines that the beer awards uses?
I think they adapt the Queensland Beer Awards get adapted from the Brewers Association, but not entirely. And the ones that are coming up, they probably will be adapted from last year's ones. So because the beers would have already been brewed and things like that. But
Yeah, they couldn't use them this close to the competition. That's
no,
unfair for
no. But between the Brewers Association and the I can't remember what the what is it, the home brew one.
HB. It's on my phone.
There's a couple of guidelines built together that a lot have built on, but I'd say this is probably the biggest guideline that most brewers use. And most
HBJC?
BJCP.
BJCP, that's it.
BJCP. So that's yeah. So the Brewers Association and BJCP are probably the two biggest, and they're quite closely related. So yeah, a lot of competitions are built out of both of them, one of them, or a bit of mix and match. And you're still trying to get a Sparky to run your brewing system.
Yeah, I had a chat to him earlier in the week about changes, and he said he's going to call me back, and hasn't called me back, so I'll have to call him tomorrow and give him a poke. I need to start brewing beer, basically.
Yep.
'Cause last year I took some beer across to the camping trip, so I want to do the same thing again. I've got a couple of my Belgians, like long aged beers, which I take across.
Yep.
I wouldn't mind taking across probably like 12 bottles or so of like a pale ale or IPA or something just to share around.
Yep. Sounds good. I think that's all our beer news, isn't it?
Yep, that's all I had.
So in sport, Big Bash League continues. It looks like the Heat might just scrape into the finals after 3 very close wins. A bit of controversy last week with Rizwan, the Pakistani captain, being retired out after he had a slow run rate. It's caused a bit of controversy. It's within the rules, but there's been some complaints made against the Renegades and the BBL for someone who's getting paid $420,000 to come out to have a slow run rate and be pulled off the field. So there might be some more to come out of that one. F1.
So was he retired out? Or
yep.
Oh, sorry, retired hurt, or
No.
they just yanked him because he was shit?
Because he wasn't scoring fast enough. Second time it's happened this year. It's quite within the rules. You can do
So is it the team that yanks him, or the umpires, or the team? Okay.
Yep, you're going too slow, you're out. And that hurts their stats too.
That's pretty brutal.
And all these 2020 comps that they do rely on stats. So yeah, the Pakistani feedback has been quite venomous. The disrespect and all that sort of stuff. But
yeah, they take cricket very seriously. Them in India,
all the subcontinent,
very serious business.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, it's a religion. Yeah. F1 livery start dropping tomorrow. However, the shape of the new smaller cars and removal of the DRS wings will become more interesting, I think, than the stickers that are on the cars. So they've got a much smaller wheelbase. There's no DRS this year. A whole new regulation. So I think it's going to be a very tasty season to see how everyone's adapted to the new rules and fully synthetic petrol and things like that. And yeah, and supercars. I think the dying category continues to flounder. The introduction of the Toyota Supra to a number of teams this year. It coincides with the ending of Supra production in March this year, with no V8 available to purchase. So, like Nissan with the Altima, Volvo with the S60, you couldn't actually buy the car. Chevrolet Camaro does have a V8 but ceased production in 2024. So the only car on the grid, the Mustang, is the one that resembles anything close to what you could actually buy. I just think, why bother? Make it a GT3 or a single make category. I know diehard tattoo supporters of the Australian touring cars who are just completely over it with all these parity rule changes. I just think it's a dying category, and they need to do something. Like I'm happy for Toyota to come in, but I don't see it doing anything this year.
Seems strange that, like, basically, like, one of the main reasons for, as a factory, putting a car into racing is to raise your profile and get your name in front of people and sell the car.
Yeah.
Race on Sunday, buy on Monday.
Yeah.
And it seems weird that you've got two companies now, I think maybe three companies now, where they're pushing forward a V8 car in the races and you can't buy it. Madness. I don't get it.
Nope.
I think the supercars lost me when they really started ramping up the parity, and I think at the stage I was watching, I think the Commodores were just stomping all over the Falcons, and they brought in a whole bunch of weight penalties, and there was something else they brought in.
Yeah, well, when the Skylines came out and pantsed everyone, and then they changed the rules to say you couldn't have the turbo V6s, and then the Ford Sierras came out, which you couldn't buy locally in Australia, and it's just been a bit of a declining shit show, really, or increasing shit show, I guess.
Yeah, I don't know. Just race what you brought, and if you're faster than everyone else has got to work hard to catch up.
Yep, I agree. Well, that's why I think GT3. I think that would be a much better class, and then you could have other GT3 teams come in from other countries because it's all the same specs, and our drivers could go to, do the Nürburgring and Bathurst and Laguna Seca, and I reckon that would be a much better comp, but they of course don't own it. So anyway, that's me. And you said that you had something here on the All Blacks being a bit harsh.
Yeah, about the only sports news I had for this week was Scotty Razor Robertson, who's been the All Blacks coach for the last 2 years, got shit canned halfway through his contract, or there was an agreement for him to step away from the role. So they've announced that they're going to start looking for a coach. So obviously hasn't been planned all that that far ahead. Having coached the Canterbury Crusaders to 7 straight Super Rugby titles, I guess everyone assumed that he had the goods to maintain the All Blacks' ludicrously high standards, but it doesn't seem to have translated. He's still got some pretty good stats, right? This is how tough the All Blacks coaching gig is. So this year they won 10 out of 13 matches, international tests, including a tour of Britain and matches against South Africa and Argentina, Australia as well. And that was seen as not a good enough result. Probably in that, though, factoring in that a massive loss to New Zealand by 25 points or so, and their first ever loss to Argentina. So the All Blacks, not that they say it publicly, but they're all about maintaining high standards and records and being extremely proud of unbeaten runs. So that massive loss to South Africa and first time losing to Argentina would be seen as big black marks on Razor's record there.
10 out of
So
13.
the incoming coach has got about
That's a bit rough.
sorry,
10 out of 13 last year's a bit rough.
yeah.
I lost 3
There were a couple
international
of
games.
there were quite a few there were a few tight matches though, which maybe factors in as well. Like Scotland was 8 points. One of the Australian tests was 7 points or 9 points or so.
Mm.
So I mean, if you've never been to New Zealand, you just don't understand. Like you mentioned about cricket, it's a religion in New Zealand,
The passion.
and
Yeah.
like it's a passion. Everyone supports it. I think I've told this story before, but I was on a rugby tour, a school rugby tour in Rotorua, and at that stage, my school BBC was a nobody in school rugby in Brisbane, and so we were in Rotorua, and I had my blazer and my uniform on, and some old lady stopped me in the street. Oh, where are you from, Sonny? I'm like, oh, I'm from Brisbane on a rugby tour. She goes, oh, who are you playing next? I'm like, oh, we're going to play Auckland. She's like, oh, those boys will fuck you up. I'm like, what? Hang on, what?
Where did that come from?
Yeah, I'm just getting absolutely blasted from some 90-year-old lady with a walker. I'm like, what is going on? So that's the level of intensity that the All Blacks fans have. So 10 out of 13, not good enough.
Love
And I
it.
reckon Joe Smith would have been pretty happy with that winning percentage if he managed that with the Wallabies.
Oh, we would take that any day of the year. Like,
Yeah,
yeah,
and that shows you the difference.
it does. Alrighty, mate. Well, I will catch you next week, and thank everyone for listening, joining, watching our Facebook pages, and make sure you drop a line if you want us to feature anything, or if you've got something you want to sell, reach out. And we'll see everyone, or you will hear us next week.
Thanks, everyone. Thanks, Luke. See ya.
Bye.